Welcome to Inner Peace Better Health, your oasis for calm, clarity, and conscious living. I'm your host, Saima, and today's guest is Agi Keramidas, a transformation coach, podcast host, and dedicated spiritual seeker who's walked the path of deep meditation and inner mastery. He's here to share the profound insights gained from his 10-day Vipassana retreat and how meditation isn't just a tool, but a portal to real peace and personal evolution. Now, if you have been craving stillness in a noisy world, this episode is your invitation inward. So, Aggie, you have experienced a 10-day Vipassana retreat, and that's intense. So, what
Mhm.
pulled you toward it, and what surprised you the most during this time?
What surprised me the most, that I could, there was nowhere to hide from my mind. In a word, there was no distraction, so I had to face my mind and whatever my mind contained, uh, 24 hours a day for nine and a half days, because the last day we started speaking again.
Mm-hmm. So, was there a moment that, truly cracked something open within you?
There were a few moments when, especially during the there were some guided meditation sessions, which were where the teacher would teach the how the practice is meant to be performed properly. And one of them, it was actually on day 3, I believe, when he taught the actual process, the technique, shall we say, of Vipassana meditation. Something clicked and something happened that time for me, because it's not easy to describe, but let's say I went to a place internally that I hadn't been before. And then after the meditation session had finished, I was, in a way, let's say, the phrase that comes to my mind is spaced out. I was not entirely present in my physical environment. I was kind of half somewhere else. So that's one moment that I remember still as a very, important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That kind of deep stillness is rare, Aggie, and powerful. It's not just about silence, but seeing yourself clearly, right?
It is. Silence makes that easier. I think that is what the whole process of doing the silent meditation is, that because you are devoid of any other external distractions, so you can speak, you don't write anything, you don't read anything, there is no communication whatsoever. Therefore, you don't have anything really to distract your mind with. I mean, there are some moments where you have your meals and when you have your, personal hygiene and sleep, which are, some, if you can call those distractions from the mind,
Mm-hmm.
the way that most of us live life right now, even having a meal, it's rarely, it should, but it's rarely an experience where you are becoming present. More often, in many people's, there is, the TV on or something else happening. And so there is a opportunity for distractions. But in the retreat, there wasn't. And that's what I said in the beginning when you asked me for the first question. The realization that the mind is there all the time, and when we don't um, rush to distract ourselves, with something else so that we don't hear it, then we pay attention to it. We have no choice but to pay attention to it, and we realize more about, the nature of our thoughts, the mind, everything else. Wonderful experience. Wonderful. Thank you for asking me about it.
You're warmly welcome. Absolutely, I agree with you. Now, for those new to meditation, it can feel intimidating. So, how do you define spirituality and meditation in a way that feels accessible?
Yes, of course, the 10-day retreat that I went to happened after many years of me involved in practicing meditation. I was not a beginner with this. But to answer your question, spirituality for me is the belief or the knowing better than belief. I think is a better word. The knowing that we are part of something bigger than us or something else. So we are not, separately individuals as we are led to believe. So I think that is for me spirituality, the knowing that we are part of a bigger existence, a bigger, the whole. Uh, it doesn't matter how anyone wants to call it. So, but that is for me spirituality. You asked about meditation. It's great. It's been a long
Mhm.
time since I thought of a definition of meditation, and so I'm thinking about it now. I think the meditation is um, a method or a technique, and certainly a practice that allows one to have some insight, some realization, to connect, shall we say, with that beyond, that essence of us that is beyond us, our higher existence or our higher self or the universe or God. It is a method, a practice that, facilitates that. It allows us to look more clearly inside us into who we truly are. And these things are they're not easy to describe, and they have to be felt, and we feel them inside. So that's why sometimes, and I'm sure that you have also experienced that it's not easy to describe these internal experiences with words. We do our best, but there are some limitations.
Uh, so, can you share a good way to begin, even for someone who thinks they can't sit still?
Uh, Absolutely. The way that it's quite common for many people nowadays because of the how we use our smartphone, which is pretty much with us or on us all the time. So there are some apps which are great for someone beginner to meditation. One of them, and I use that one myself for a couple of years. It is called Calm, 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 and there was another called Headspace. And there is, if someone is a little bit more advanced, a course or an app that I found very beneficial, and it helped me very much to, let's say, advance my practice was waking. The app is called Waking Up by Sam Harris. So these are some apps. All of them have a free version for one to try for a few days before committing. So I think it's an ideal way to enter into the world of meditation, because our smartphone, as I said, we have it with us all the time, most people.
That's so good. It's not about perfection, it's about presence, even if it's messy.
Hmm. I don't even know if such a thing exists in meditation and spirituality, perfection. I never thought that something like that could even exist. It is a path that we walk on, and hopefully we get better or improve on the path. But perfection, I have no expectation or desire to reach such a thing, if it exists.
That completely makes sense, Aggie.
Mm.
Now, spirituality can be so personal, right? So, what does it mean to you, and how has that meaning evolved over time?
It's a good question. As I was saying earlier, it is the knowing that we are part of a bigger whole. Uh, I think the evolvement over time was that back in my, let's say, in my early 20s, that's when I first got involved with spirituality. But what has my understanding, shall we say, at that time was more of a intellectual level. So I was reading some books, I was having some seminars and so on. So I had an intellectual understanding of it, or a mental understanding, if you want. The more the years have passed, the understanding, of course, I still have even more, intellectual comprehension. But I think more important than that is the knowing, or the that comprehension that is not necessarily comes from the mind, that it is some thoughts or knowledge in the mind. It's more of the, if anything, comes seems to be coming more from the heart, or from the that part of the body. So it's like a different understanding, or at least elements of it. They feel like more ex- experiential, coming from experience rather than from knowledge. I hope that makes sense.
That completely makes sense. That's really noteworthy, Aggie. Uh, so, has there been a moment when you questioned the path, and what brought you back?
Yes.
Mhm.
I wish I could say that no, I have never questioned the path, but that wouldn't be true. Because I think it is part of our um, nature, if you want, as human beings, to have, this, let's say, weaknesses or moments that we bend, shall we say, under the weight of the events or circumstances or whatever else happens. So there have been a few, not a lot, thank goodness, but there have been a few moments where I really questioned everything. And when I say everything, I mean even my core belief. Is this really so? Does any of this really exist? I mean, these thoughts came to me. Uh, Very quickly, I realize that now, that to some extent these thoughts will come, and it's not my choice that I will have these kinds of thoughts. What is my choice, and I can and I have exercised that choice, is how I respond to these thoughts. Because if I allow these thoughts to escalate and spiral down into, this, into a really negative outcome or stories, then one might even, turn away from spirituality. And I'm sure there are in history lots of people who have felt, let's say, betrayed by God, or whatever, however you want to call it. So that's, I think, the important thing is to be able to realize that these thoughts are just that. It is some thoughts that are triggered by my current situation, frustration, or whatever burden I have in my life right now. I think usually we question our faith in times of challenge. I think when things go well, we are all very easy to be grateful for, the blessings. When it's challenging, it is more, let's say, as I said earlier, I think it is partly human nature to question that, but it's also part of our power as human beings to exercise our reason and push these thoughts away and very quickly, return to what feels warm and home and what is close to heart. I'm just trying to refer to the spirit in some, bodily elements, but I'm of course referring to, the connection with, again, with the belief that I belong to something else, despite these thoughts that I have of questioning my faith. I hope that. Thank you for asking me this question. I had never expressed this answer
Mm.
before. Thank you.
Warmly, Maggie. That kind of honesty builds trust with the soul, and doubt isn't the enemy. It's a doorway, no?
Excuse me, I lost you there for a second. Can you repeat the question?
Mhm. No, it was not a question, it was just a statement that kind of honesty builds trust with the soul, and doubt isn't the enemy, it's a doorway.
I like how you say that trust, that honesty builds trust with the soul, because
Yes.
the soul knows us anyway. It is us who have to learn the soul. So
Mhm.
it, yes.
Yes. Now, you often speak about transformation, so how does daily meditation change the way someone navigates life's chaos or uncertainty?
Of course, it's rather complicated or much detailed answer, but what I can share now that comes up is that meditation, especially leaving aside that 10-day retreat, which was something extraordinary that maybe I will do at some point in the future, but it's certainly not something that I can or I would like to do, very regularly. It is a huge commitment, as you can imagine. But coming back to your question, what I do daily in the morning, it is part of my morning routine, and I do it within the first 20 minutes or less than I wake up. Is meditation practice, which varies. It is different in different times. But how that helps me to answer your question is I will give you the an analogy, like when we in the morning, usually many people get ready and go out to for their work or for their tasks or whatever it is that they're doing. During that time, we have not much control of our day. As much as we would like to believe that we are in control of our day, we don't really. There is all these circumstances, our interactions with people, anything can go in a different way than our expectations. And that is a fact of life. No one can do anything about that. However, the morning meditation for me gives me um, the ability and the conviction that at that time I am in control. It is my time, and that gives me a sense of certainty for sure, and in a way it I will use the word fortify or armor me in a way, put a metaphorical armor around me that serves as my grounding or my protection to some extent during whatever happens in the day. So it is something that, let's say, I I build it, or it gets built because I don't do it intentionally, but I think it happens as a outcome of the daily practice of meditation, is that there is this kind of more groundness and calmness, and again, I mean internally, because it all starts with internally inside our mind. Whatever we experience, it does not happen out there, it happens in internally. So I hope that gives answers your question, Saima.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. That was really noteworthy. And that's actually the beauty of it. No apps, no care, just you and your breath,
Sorry,
isn't it?
I lost you there again for a moment.
Mm-hmm. You know what you said, the answer you give, that's the beauty of it. No apps, no care, just you and your breath.
Exactly, exactly. It is very, it can be very liberating. Other times it can be very challenging to keep your attention to your breath or to scanning the body, or so it is always a journey. It is a practice, but it is, for me personally, I always, when I end the practice, I'm better off than when I started it. That has been a fact.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, how do we stay connected to that deeper self when daily life, pulls us in every direction?
How do I? I'm very sorry, but I keep on losing you. And you say, how do I stay connected?
To that deeper self, like to our deeper self, when like our daily life pulls us in every direction.
Mm. It's a great question. The best answer I can give, because it's the best I have discovered for myself so far, is
Mm-hmm.
that we have to keep going at it. We have to keep on practicing it, practicing in our, being self-aware of being connected, being present in the moment. It is, as far as I know, at least personally, I haven't found any easy way or any shortcut to that. It is a matter of living this as it is a way of life, really, to want to remain connected and grow spiritually, grow as a person. So I think that gives me the, let's say, the incentive to stay connected. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I remain connected all the time, far from it. I have so many moments that
Mm-hmm.
I lose my connection, shall we say. But it I know that it will happen back. I will reconnect. So there is a knowing inside me that feels in a certain way that it helps me to remain connected when things uh, don't go the way I was expecting, or something like that.
That's the real practice. It's like not escaping life, but engaging with it from stillness, right?
Of course, it's not about escaping it. Escape. The I was thinking of the retreat now, the 10-day silent retreat. Even that is, I won't call it an escape. It is a temporary retreat, but you know that no matter what happens, you come back to whatever it is. So, no, it's never about escape. It is about, um, I like very much the phrase, it's about the art of living, really. Not escaping life, living life as an art in the best possible way for each of us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's really remarkable.
Mm.
Aggie, thank you for guiding us back to the quiet, sacred space within. And to all our listeners, the peace you're seeking isn't out there, it's been waiting inside you all along. So close your eyes, breathe deep, and meet yourself where the stillness leaves. Until next time, stay aware, stay open, and keep choosing your inner peace.